is just fantastic. Captain's Log, Subdates 211228.4. There is a running joke that famous people, especially the athletes, get a free pass when it comes to justice. Today I'd like to take a look at one of these famous people and possibly correct what could well be injustice. Welcome everyone to the Halls of Injustice. Today we welcome inmate number 108 to the ISO cubes. His name is Karim Benzema, and he is a very successful soccer or football player. He is now so successful, he has overtaken Thierry Henry, arguably one of the greatest strikers of all time, for number of goals and blah blah blah, doesn't matter really. He plays for Real Madrid and has done since 2009, where he is also one of the highest goal scorers in La Liga history, which doesn't really mean a lot, because there are only 2 teams, maybe 3 at a push, but be realistic for a second here. It's been Real Madrid and Barcelona for a long time. Their players are often touted as the greatest in the world. It's why the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi regularly get the Greatest Footballer of the Year award, or World's Best, the Ballon d'Or. Like it really matters. We're not salty over here. We had Michael Owen, right? Anyway, throughout his career he has been involved in a number of controversies, quite serious ones. One did for a time carry a rather substantial consequence, and we're going to address the other one first. Yeah, there are 2, but the more recent one isn't exactly recent, but it did get concluded recently, kind of-ish. We'll get into it. On the 18th of April 2010, it was reported by French television channel M6 that 4 members of the French national team were being investigated for their roles as clients in a prostitute ring operated inside of a Paris nightclub, with some of the women possibly being underage. Those players were revealed to be Franck Ribéry, Sidney Govou, Hatem Ben Arfa, and, Karim Benzema. Benzema was alleged at the time to have had a sexual rendezvous with a prostitute when she was 16, an act Benzema denied through his lawyers. On the 20th of July, Benzema was questioned by Paris police and indicted on the charge of solicitation of a minor prostitute. In November 2011, prosecutors asked for the case against Ribéry and Benzema to be dropped, saying that the players were not aware that the escort identified as someone was 16 years old. The case did though go to trial, and in January 2014 the judge dropped the charges against both Franck Ribéry and Karim Benzema, saying there was a lack of evidence that the pair knew that the prostitutes were underage. The more recent one happened a year later in November of 2015, where Karim Benzema was, on the 4th of November 2015, arrested by the French police over allegations of a plot to blackmail international teammate Mathieu Valbuena over a sex tape. Karim Benzema's lawyer at the time did say that Benzema is fine. He has nothing to do with this blackmail case. Tony Adams of Eurosport said that the French forward was placed into custody after visiting the judicial police on Wednesday morning, and that Benzema had been connected with the process previously by Le Parisien, although only as a peripheral figure, so not somebody directly involved. In the blackmail itself, that is. There are 5 people involved in this, with Karim being alleged to being one of them. It was also suggested that Benzema mentioned the alleged tape to the Lyon man, Valbuena, during international duty, with a source claiming that Benzema learned of the video from a friend of his brother in Lyon, who had been contacted by the suspected blackmailers with a view to involving Benzema in their scheme. Other players the police interviewed would include Djibril Cissé, who played for Liverpool, but after a raid on his home he was just released on October 13th and nothing more is said about it. The claim early on was extortion. There was one final claim, and that it was that the existence of the intimate video had not been proven, i.e. to exist. During the investigation of the blackmail plot, French Prime Minister Manuel Valls stated a great athlete should be exemplary. If he is not, he has no place in the France team. There are so many kids, so many youngsters in our suburbs that relate to great athletes. They wear the blue jersey, the colours of France, which are so important in these moments. On the 10th of December 2015, Noël de Graat, the president of the Triple F, announced the suspension of the striker from the French team until a new development in the affair. It was around this time and shortly before, Benzema had been barred from contacting Valbuena. That had been lifted on the 17th of February 2016, and on the 11th of July 2017 the Court of Cassation issued a judgment in which it invalidated a decision of the Court of Appeal in Versailles, which had validated the procedure by which Benzema had been indicted for complicity of attempted blackmail. The decision was made on the basis of contesting the legality of the phone calls recording by the police, and the judgment did not disprove the veracity of the blackmail attempt on Valbuena by Benzema. Skipping ahead to the 7th of January 2021, the Public Prosecutor's Office in Versailles announced that Karim Benzema, along with 4 others, would face trial for their involvement alleged in the blackmail attempt, which finally brings us to present day. Karim Benzema is found guilty in the sex tape blackmail case involving fellow French footballer Mathieu Valbuena, with him being charged with complicity in the attempted blackmail. His defense had claimed that what actually happened was he was trying to help his fellow player when he approached him about the sex tape at the French team's training center in October 2015, and Benzema had in fact just told Valbuena that he could find someone to manage the issue of the video. When the trial had concluded last month, the prosecutors had demanded that Karim Benzema, who was not present during the court proceedings, be handed a 10-month suspended sentence and a fine of €75,000. Under French law, the maximum sentence that Karim Benzema could have received would have been a 5-year prison term and a €90,000 fine. So as he's been found guilty, we can now go straight to the sentence. Karim Benzema, found guilty of complicity in an attempted blackmail, was handed a 1-year suspended jail term and a £63,000, so €75,000 sentence, which is slightly higher, the sentence overall, to what the prosecutors were after, by about 2 months suspended. The judge said that Benzema was not aware of the precise maneuvers, but the content of his chat at Clairefontaine with Valbuena shows he was personally involved. The court then ruled he had implicated himself personally through subterfuge and lies to convince his teammate to submit to the blackmail, adding that he had shown no kindness towards Valbuena, going so far as to claim that it was the opposite and even appeared to take pleasure in his fellow player's demise. Before this, Benzema had actually started playing for France again. I wonder how long that's going to last, considering the guilty verdict is very much there. Karim Benzema's team are going to be appealing this, so for the sake of it, I'm not going to stick him in one of these cubes just yet. I want to see what happens when the appeals are exhausted, because they do believe the sentence is not only harsh, with it being delivered over a 74-page verdict, but that it was severe, unfair, and unfounded. If it does go to appeal, Karim Benzema has said himself that he will attend so as to properly explain himself, which I have no doubt will yield no results in his favour. Can you imagine how bad this would have looked for football had he won the Ballon d'Or that he was up for? It's quite fortunate then that he came fourth. The others involved were handed a variety of sentences, one of whom got 18 months suspended, another got 2.5 years in prison. To add one final sentence to all of this, although really it's kind of inconsequential considering how much money they all make, while Karim Benzema more notably, the group were ordered to pay €80,000 to Valbuena in legal costs and €150,000 in damages. The president of the French FA, Noël Le Gret, said that the outcome of the trial would have no impact on Benzema's chances of playing for the French national team. So if Benzema's team are so adamant that he's innocent, why does the judge believe otherwise? Because it certainly isn't money. Karim Benzema makes €10 million a year playing for Real Madrid. It was something else. One of the other defendants, Karim Zenati, is one of Karim Benzema's closest friends from his childhood, and so an unwavering loyalty to him had him get involved for the sake of his friend. Now, as we're going to wait for the appeal to come through, I do want to know what you all think about this. Please do let me know in the comments down below. I hope you'll have a fantastic day. Thank you all very much for listening.